Shamu, everyone. Did you know you've been lied to? Did you know you and just about a vast majority of everyone on this app has been repeatedly and shamelessly lied to? Okay, now that I've got your attention. Um, I did say that I would attempt to start a series on kind of in response to the last video and the question that was asked to me in the last video on this whole situation of the left-hand path and these bad actors. So basically what we're going to do here is I have no clue how many parts this is going to be. I'm going to try and do one or two a day and see what we can get from there. I apologize, my allergies are still killing me. But what we're going to do here is I am going to sit here and go off, compile notes, put together scripts for this to begin to discuss this very pervasive issue. And like any good lecture attempt, I have three main points, three things I hope to accomplish here. One, the information that I will be giving out, I aim to disseminate it as much as possible. To that end, I'm going to be reading it. I'm going to be, I don't ever ask y'all to hit the buttons, do the thingies, but if you feel inclined towards that end, we can. Two, I would like to set the record straight, cutting through many of the lies that are perpetrated in occult spheres, in magic spheres, in witchcraft spheres. Hopefully, I do a good job at that. And three, I want to save some of y'all time. That way, if y'all are wasting the time that you have on this planet with your spiritual growth and your spiritual path, and you're wasting that by being duped and conned because these people are doing all this, we can cut that, right? We can get you back on track. So those are my three main goals for this little series I'm going to do. I want it to be said that at no point do I want any of y'all to feel like this is a personal attack on you. This is not an attack on people's practices. This is not an attack on anybody personally. Outside maybe a couple people that get mentioned. I won't even say it's an attack there. They know what they did. They know what they're doing. I tend to, in these circumstances, live by the it is better to attribute ignorance, not malice kind of ideology when it comes to this. So, outside of names that I will be bringing up, and it will be well aware in the context of these names where the malice is, outside of that, I'm not attacking any of y'all. I understand that in a world of hyper-information like we live in, that these kind of things, you get certain sound bites and then you don't get others, or you don't get stuff that refutes those sound bites very often. You've got to dig to find the stuff. I've had to dig 20 years of digging to find some of this stuff. So I want y'all to keep that in mind. I learned how to do the little pausey thing. Isn't that cool? We're back at it. I had to resituate and pull up my notes. So, basically the main thesis here that I want to get to in this series is that people like Coetting, people like Mason, people like these people, them being not good people and them kind of being a little sus, it's not an outlier. It's a big pattern in things that would be considered left-hand path. The whole thing is filled with really shady and bad people. And part of that is because, as I said, you all have been lied to. We're gonna put it plainly. Our idea of the left-hand path, it's because our idea of the left-hand path does not exist. It's not there. And that's for two reasons. One, you ask 9 left-hand path practitioners what left-hand path means, you're going to get 30 questions. Nobody can nail it down. It's a very wriggly concept like that. And part of that is going to the next point, is that the historicity of where this comes from is very in question. I thought I had that silenced. I apologize, y'all. So what happens is, and we're gonna probably approach this either at the end of this video or at the start of the next one. But this term is accidentally taken. I'm not gonna say accidentally. It was taken out of context, and we exist very downstream from it. So with what we're going to be going under, hopefully as I go through this, we're going to see together how this becomes a festering ground for these problems. Because it is a problem. And whether you are a left-hand path practitioner or not, we all can agree that people that are as big a problem as this do need to be addressed and called out. So, with that being said, we're going to start with the term itself, left-hand path. Where does this come from? This comes all the way back in the ancient age of the 1800s. It comes from infamous occultist Helena Blavatsky. If you don't know that name, that's a very interesting rabbit hole to go down. She was not a good person. You know how I said ignorance versus malice? She's definitely one of them that I will attribute to malice, and even if not, fuck Blavatsky. But Blavatsky heard a term when she was busy appropriating everything from the East. She heard the term Vamachara and completely missed the mark. She completely missed the mark of what it is and spun this whole thing out. So essentially, Vamachara translates as the left hand of the goddess. It's a term that Blavatsky appropriated and the entire theologian movement did, and it's brought us here with a lot of the problems today in Western esotericism. So Vamachara is a bit of an umbrella term. It's for groupings of people that are kind of heterodox or antinomian within India. These kind of groupings would be people like the Kalakula, the Kaula, the Aghori, along those lines. Now, what this is and what's being appropriated here, because I did just hit 8.5 minutes, is going to be a video I'm going to put out right after this one, because we're going to get started on this. Until then, Shamu.